Namaste everybody, and thank you for joining me in this Yin class. This is part 4 of my Elemental Yin series, in which we explore the elements of traditional Chinese medicine and their associated meridians during our Yin practice. So today we are focusing on the earth element, and the associated meridians are the spleen and the stomach. So that you know vaguely while we're doing postures, I'll just show you where they are. The spleen meridian starts on the feet, runs up the inner leg, up the inner thigh, and onto the front of the body. And the stomach meridian starts on the face, runs down the front of the body, and then about 3/4 of the way to the outside of the leg and down to the feet. So we'll be doing some hip openers and back bending, and also working into the quads to get into the stomach meridian. So the earth element has a real mothering quality. It has the quality of support and nurturing, offering stability and a sensation of being grounded, this energy of giving and receiving and abundance. And so during the class we will focus on the quality of nurturing and support. So we'll just take a minute or so to get centered before we come into the shapes. So just finding a comfortable seated position and then closing down the eyes. You can always sit up on a blanket or even kneel if this is more comfortable. Just finding somewhere where you can withdraw into your internal environment. Allowing yourself to fully arrive into your body and into your practice. Feeling your points of contact with the earth. Feeling supported and held by her. Feeling the lower half of your body heavy, sinking down towards the earth. And at the same time, finding a lift up through the spine and through the crown of the head, up towards the sky. And starting to cultivate a slow, steady breath. Taking a few really deep, conscious breaths. So inhaling, drawing that breath deep down into the pit of your abdomen, ballooning your lungs, expanding the rib cage and lifting the collarbones. And then exhale, feeling that gentle dropping of the rib cage, flattening of the belly. Taking a few more deep breaths like this, and following the journey of the breath and the sensations that it creates in the body. Starting to also cultivate a sense of awareness in your body as you breathe. Listening to the subtle expressions that your body gives. We'll move into the first posture, which will be a squat. So just taking your hands in front of you and rolling over the knees. Taking the soles of the feet to the ground. And the feet can be more than hip distance and the toes pointing out to the sides. If your heels lift off the ground, you can bring a blanket or a bolster beneath them, or you can also bring a block or a bolster to sit down upon. I'm just keeping your knees wide, and then just allow your upper body to dangle in between the thighs. Allow the elbows to be heavy, the shoulders to melt down the sides of your body, and your neck to be loose. So if it's more comfortable to bring a bolster or a blanket beneath the forehead, then you can do so. Taking a moment to find that position. We're here for 3 minutes. So when you find that comfortable position, relaxing entirely into it. You want in these yin postures to come to a space where you feel something beginning to happen, a slight stretch or stress on the tissues. And this is where the magic starts to happen. This is where you begin to feel a release as these tissues start to soften. You also always want to work within your comfortable limits. And this allows your body to fully relax. Maybe just scanning through the body and making sure that you're not holding onto any unnecessary tension. Just making sure your hands, your elbows, your shoulders are all loose and heavy. Your head just dangling. No tension in the neck or the jaw. Feel the stability of the earth beneath you, beneath your feet, holding you, allowing you to feel grounded. Throughout this yin practice, allow yourself to feel nurtured, to feel held, working within your limits. Take one last deep breath in this position. And slowly bring your upper body to a neutral position, more upright. And we'll move into our next position directly, which will be tipsy sphinx. So we'll crawl forwards and onto our belly, lowering yourself down. And first we'll take a blanket and we'll place it next to the right hip. And coming up on the forearms, stacking the elbows beneath the shoulders. And bend your right hip and knee, bringing that leg to the side. Finding external rotation, and the right foot is also pointing to the right, coming into a kind of half frog, half sphinx. Now if you want to bring something below your forehead so that you can release your neck, you can do that. Just finding that position where you feel that nice opening into the hip, stretching into the spleen and stomach meridians here. And we're here for 3 minutes. And just checking through the body and making sure you're not holding on to any unnecessary tension. That right foot, leg, the lower back, the neck is soft, the jaw relaxed. Really using minimal effort to hold yourself in this position. Feeling into that stability and the support of the earth beneath you. If you want to increase the sensation, you can always build up the blanket beneath that right leg. If you find a little sore on the elbows and forearms on a hard surface, you can also bring a blanket beneath them. It's really allowing yourself to be as comfortable as you possibly can, bringing this sense of nurturing into your practice. Take one last deep breath in this position. And slowly release that right leg down, straight next to your left leg. Just come into a little mini rebound, relaxing your upper body down onto the ground, maybe making a pillow with your hands or your forearms, and resting your head to one side. Staying present with the sensations that arise in your body. Maybe observing that recoil and reshape of the connective tissue. Allowing yourself to fully relax. We'll move on to the other side. So first move your blanket onto the left side next to the hip. And then stacking the elbows beneath the shoulders, arms parallel, and bend into that left hip and knee, bringing the leg out to the side into your half frog position. And the left foot is also facing out to the left. And we're here for 3 minutes. Again, if you want to bring a block underneath the forehead so that you can more fully relax the head and neck, then you can. And you can always build up the size of the blanket beneath that left knee. Taking another quick internal inventory and making sure that every part of your body is relaxed. If at any point your mind wanders, gently bringing it back to the present moment, focusing on the movement of your breath, the sensations that it produces within your body, and to the sensations of the posture within your body. That feeling of opening, stretch, allowing yourself to fully be in the moment and experience this richness of experience. Take one last deep breath in this position. And very slowly release that left leg down, straight next to the right, and come down onto your front for your rebound. Maybe taking your head to the other side this time. Find a little balance in the neck. Observing within the body the changes of sensation. Very slowly we'll move into the next position, which will be child's pose. So taking the hands next to the chest and pushing yourself up onto your knees. I recommend taking the blanket beneath your knees here and just find it's a little more comfortable. So we'll come into a wide leg child's pose. So bringing your knees as wide as you want. Your heels closer together, and just walking your hands forwards, bringing your upper body down between the thighs and forehead onto the mat. There's an option here to bring a blanket beneath the thighs, between the thighs and the calves, if that's more comfortable. Or you can bring something below the torso. A moment to find your position. We're here for 4 minutes. Great stretch for the spleen meridian here. Working into the inner thighs, the groin muscles. We'll use this time and this space to reflect upon what you do to nurture yourself. So what self-care methods, what practices and disciplines do you have in place with the intention of caring for yourself and nurturing yourself? And this could be anything from enjoying your favorite foods to doing something nice for your body, something like a massage or essential oils in a bath, taking a walk in nature, allowing yourself some creative time. Just taking a moment to acknowledge and reflect on the methods that you have in place to care for yourself. Also, take a moment to take into consideration if you do things that you know are good for you just because you know that they're good for you, or do you do them with an intention of love and care for yourself? Perhaps if you realize that you do these things almost automatically, maybe you can start to bring a little bit more loving, caring intention into your practices. And we'll take one last deep breath in this position. Very slowly easing yourself up by walking your hands in towards your body. And easing the knees together. We'll move directly into our next position. So you can take the blanket away. You can always leave it there. It's quite nice to have a blanket laid out on your mat during yin. And we'll move into half saddle. So we'll start with the right leg. So take the heel out to the side of the hip so that you're sitting inside of that heel. And extend that left leg out long in front of you. And we'll take a rolled up blanket or a bolster. And we'll just place it sort of 6 inches away from your back. And you might need a couple of bolsters here if you're particularly tight in the hip flexor and the quads, as well as knees. You can always remove the flesh of the calf out to one side or put a blanket or something in between there. And then just lie back onto the bolster. Your arms can come up overhead or they can stay down by the sides of your body. If this is not enough for you, then you can always take the bolster away. This is going to increase the sensation in the hip flexor and the quad. Another thing that I like to do is to bend my left knee, bringing the sole of the foot to the ground. And if this is still not enough, you can always raise that left foot up onto a block. This should increase the sensation in that hip flexor and quad on the right side. So finding that position, and we're here for 3 minutes. Allowing yourself to fully relax into the position. Allow this moment right now to be a moment of nurturing. With the intention to send yourself some love and care. If at any moment your mind wanders, gently bring it back to the breath, back to the sensations in your body, maybe back to that intention of loving kindness and nurturing. Keep allowing yourself to sink deeper into the posture, allowing that hold and stability of the earth beneath you to make you feel relaxed in doing this, surrendering yourself into her embrace. We'll take one last deep breath in this position. Very, very slowly, easing yourself up onto your forearms, and then onto your hands. And with the help of your right hand, straightening the right leg out in front of you and just sitting here for a moment, allowing that leg to be stretched. Resisting any urge to bring movement into it, just observing the dissipation of the sensation. And we'll come onto the other side. So bending into the left leg, bringing the heel to the outside of the hip. And setting yourself up in the same way as you did before. So, with your bolster, with your blanket, removing the flesh of the calf out to the side on your left leg. Curling back down. Releasing yourself onto your prop, onto the ground. Again, arms up overhead or down by the sides. And if you need more, then bending into that right leg, bringing the sole of the foot onto the ground or onto a block. Finding that edge, that area of transformation where you will start to feel a release. And we're here for 3 minutes. Whenever that mind entangles you in its stories, gently disengaging and coming back to the breath, back to your experience in this posture. Feeling into the area where you feel the magic happening. Feeling into the subtleties of your existence. We'll take one last deep breath in this position. Slowly easing up onto forearms, onto your hands, bringing your body upright and releasing the left leg out in front of you, nice and slowly. removing any bolster behind you if there is one, and we'll gently relax onto our back for a rebound Shavasana. Allowing yourself a minute of total relaxation. Observing what's happening within the body. Start to develop an awareness of the subtle movements of energy within your body. Come to know yourself more deeply. So often we have our attention and our awareness turned outwards to the external world. So just allowing yourself this hour for your internal environment. Let this be your main focus. What's going on in there? How does it feel to be in there? We'll move into our next position, which will be dragonfly. So bringing the soles of the feet onto the ground, knees bent, and rolling over onto whichever side, and pushing yourself up to a seated position. Extending the legs out long, and I turn myself here so that I can keep my heels on the mat, so bringing your legs wide into wide-legged forward fold. And if you're particularly tight in the hamstrings and the adductors, then you can sit up onto a block or a blanket to find an anterior tilt of the pelvis. Or you can bring something beneath the knees here to release the hamstrings if that sensation's really too strong. So if you feel comfortable in that seated position, allow yourself to start to curl forwards. Allow your whole spine to curl, your elbows to be heavy and sink you down towards the earth. Neck to be soft, and if you want to bring some props beneath you so that you can rest your chest or your forehead on them, then you can do this. We're here for 5 minutes. I really find in this posture that during the time we spend here, as your hamstrings and your back releases, you are able to move more deeply into the posture. And so if at any point you feel like you can go a little deeper, then I encourage you to follow that edge. And this might mean adjusting your props slightly onto a lower setting, taking something away. Allow your body to sink deeper. And this way you're going to gain the most benefits out of the posture. Maybe just taking a moment to scan through the body and make sure you're not holding onto any unnecessary tension. Sometimes we hold in our feet in this position. Usually in yoga we're told to flex the toes back towards the shins, but in yin practice we completely release. So just letting go of the toes and the ankles. Allow the shoulders to melt down your sides. Elbows to sink towards the earth. And the fingers to gently curl in. Make sure that your jaw and your forehead are relaxed. We'll take this time and space in this position to reflect upon how you nurture and support others, those that you have around you, your family, your friends, your community. It can even be your pets, your garden. How do you bring your mothering quality into your relationships around you? Take a moment to examine the energy behind the nurturing that you offer others and the differences between the energy behind the nurturing that you offer yourself. Do you nurture others as you nurture yourself? Maybe more. Just observing this from a non-judgmental attitude. Just a curiosity. Take one last full breath in this position. Very slowly taking the hands onto the ground, bringing your body upright, removing any props that you have in front of you, and with the help of your hands, take them under your knees and bend into the knees, bringing the soles of the feet to the ground. Just turn yourself around, if you turned yourself around for that pose, so that we come back onto our mat lengthways. And we're going to come straight into that next posture, which will be pontoon. So taking your bolster, your blanket, or your blocks, making a roll, we're going to place that directly below the sacrum. So I quite like a little bit of height here. You can play around with this. I'm going to take a block and a blanket, and then just ease your sacrum on top of it. Allow the rest of your body to sink down towards the earth. And there's an option to keep your knees bent so that the soles of the feet rest on the ground. And you can knock your knees in towards one another. Or if you want to come into the full expression, you can extend those legs out long. And this really opens up the front side of the body, both the stomach and the spleen meridians. Again, arms can be by the sides, so you can bring them overhead if that feels more comfortable. So just taking a moment to find the correct height, where you feel that opening. Make all your last little movements to become comfortable, and we're here for 5 minutes. We'll use this time and space offered during this posture to reflect upon the previous reflections and what you discovered from them. Think about whether you'd like to make any changes towards your answers. Maybe you discovered that you would like to nurture yourself some more. Or maybe with a deeper, more loving intention towards yourself. Maybe you found that the energy behind nurturing others was done in a more loving way than how you nurture yourself. Maybe you want to bring more balance here. Equally, you may have found that you could offer a little more nurturing and support to those around you. Taking a moment to reflect on your own experience of these reflections. Anytime your mind wanders, gently bringing it back, either back to your reflection, back to the breath, using this as an anchor into your present moment, into the fullness of your experience. Developing an awareness of how this posture feels in your body. How the opening of your front side of the body feels physically and energetically also. Take one last breath here. Slowly we'll release into a rebound Shavasana. So you can take the soles of the feet to the ground and press the ground away from you, lifting your hips and sliding that prop from underneath your hips, lowering down onto the ground and extending your legs long again. Staying present with the subtleties on the emotional and mental level as well as the physical level. Getting a broader picture of your experience. We have one final posture to go before you come into your Shavasana, and that will be cat pulling its tail. So take your soles of the feet to the ground, knees up to the sky. We'll roll over onto our right hand side, stacking the knees on top of one another. Now slide the bottom leg, the right leg, behind you and reach back with the left arm, so your top arm, and take a hold of either the foot or the ankle. And keep sliding that knee a little bit further more behind you. And roll onto your back so both of your shoulders come into contact with the earth. Now take your right hand onto the outside of that left knee, and you can use the hand to pull the knee a little closer in towards the chest. And this should cause you to feel more of a sensation in that right hip flexor and quad. It's quite nice to bring a blanket beneath that left knee. And the further you draw the knee in, the deeper the sensation becomes. And if you need even more, you can start to extend that top leg. I'll keep both shoulder blades down towards the ground. We're here for 3 minutes. Working into both the stomach and the spleen meridians in this position. Staying present with your practice. Staying within your internal reality. If your mind tries to distract you, you're just observing the content that arises in the mind in a detached way. Just let it float on by. Take one last deep breath in this position. Slowly releasing the foot and the knee, bringing the knees back into alignment, and then rolling onto your back, bringing the knees up towards the sky, realigning the spine. Allow your feet to come wide and the knees to knock in towards one another. Taking a short rebound here before we move on to the other side. Allowing the spine to settle. And then bringing the feet back to hip distance. Rolling over onto your left side, bringing the knees on top of one another, and sliding the left leg behind you, reaching back with the right hand, and taking a hold of the foot or the ankle, and rolling both shoulder blades down onto the ground. And using your left hand on top of your right knee, to draw that leg in towards the belly, maybe bringing a bolster beneath the right knee, and maybe if you need more sensation, starting to stretch that right leg out to extend it. Finding that sensation in your hip flexor and quad on the left side, and we're here for 3 minutes. If and when the mind wanders, gently bringing it back to the present moment. Maybe acknowledging again this intention to nurture yourself during this practice. To treat yourself with love and kindness. whilst you do something good for your body and your mind. And we'll take one last deep breath in this position. Slowly releasing the hold of your foot and your knee. Sliding your knee back into alignment. Rolling over onto your back, knees up to the sky. Realigning your spine, taking your feet as wide as the mat and allow your knees to knock in towards one another. Taking a short conscious rebound before we move into our final Shavasana and let everything go. Using these last few moments to develop that awareness of your subtler existence. And then set yourself up for Shavasana. Maybe you like to hug your knees in towards your chest beforehand. And a gentle rock from side to side. And then extend the legs long. Heels coming as wide as the mat and toes rolling out to the sides. Backs of the hands on the mat and the palms facing up towards the sky. Head, neck and spine in one straight line. Feeling again the support of the earth beneath you, holding you. Allowing yourself to sink into her embrace. Surrender yourself entirely to your relaxation. You here in your Shavasana. I encourage you to take at least a few minutes and longer if you can. Just allow yourself this state of pure relaxation and doing it out of loving kindness for yourself. Namaste.